Imagine for a moment that you're not here by accident. There's a reason you stumbled across this message right now, at this exact moment, because $50 million is ready to find you. It's already on its way, looking for someone who's open to receive it. And that someone is you. You might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. But let's take a step back and consider the possibility that maybe, just maybe, this is exactly what you've been searching for. What if the money you've been dreaming about is already lined up for you, waiting for you to let it in? What if the only thing standing between you and $50 million is a simple shift in how you think and feel about wealth? Every second, millions of dollars are moving around the world. Money is flowing to people who understand how to receive it. It's not always going to the hardest workers or the smartest people. It's going to those who are in the right mindset. And now, you're about to discover the simple truth that can change your entire life. Imagine waking up and seeing $50 million in your bank account. Let that sink in for a moment. Think about how you'd feel. Calm, secure, free. No more worrying about bills or debts. No more sleepless nights wondering how to make ends meet. Instead, you'd have the power to help your loved ones, support the causes you believe in, and live the life you've always dreamed of. But here's the most important part. This isn't about chasing money. It's about allowing money to find you. Because money is energy, and it flows naturally to those who are ready to receive it. All you need to do is learn how to open that door, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you, step by step. You don't need to be a financial expert. You don't need to work harder or get another job. You simply need to shift the way you think about money. It's not complicated, and it's not out of reach. Ordinary people are already using this process to bring in extraordinary amounts of money, and you can too. Let's dive into the truth that can unlock everything you've ever wanted. Before you can let money flow into your life, you need to understand one simple truth. It all starts with belief. Belief is like the key that unlocks the door to wealth. Without it, even the best opportunities can pass you by. But when you believe, truly believe that money can and will find you, everything changes. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you heard stories of people who didn't seem particularly special, people who didn't work harder than anyone else, yet they somehow attracted huge amounts of money? It's not luck. It's not some secret handshake reserved for the wealthy. It's a belief system. It's the way they think about money. Let's get really clear on this point. Your beliefs shape your reality. If you believe that money is hard to get, then it will always feel like it's slipping through your fingers. If you believe that you have to struggle for every dollar, then that's exactly what you'll experience. But if you believe that money flows easily to you, that it's normal and natural to have abundance, then the world around you will start to shift in ways you can't even imagine. Belief isn't about pretending. It's not about forcing yourself to think positive thoughts while deep down you still feel poor. Belief is about aligning your inner truth with the reality you want to create. It's about seeing yourself as the person who naturally attracts wealth, even before the money shows up in your account. I know this might sound a little unusual if you've never thought about money this way before, but let's put it in simple terms. When you breathe, you don't worry about whether there's enough air. You just know it's there. You trust that every time you inhale, the air will be there for you. That's the kind of belief you need to have about money. It's always available, it's always flowing, and it's always looking for the right person to receive it. The moment you begin to believe that $50 million is already on its way to you, everything starts to shift. Your mind opens up to possibilities you never saw before. Opportunities that were hidden suddenly become clear. People and resources start to show up in unexpected ways. It's like the universe is rearranging itself to deliver the money you're ready to receive. But here's something important. Belief is a choice. It's not something you're born with. It's not something that just happens. You choose it day by day, moment by moment. Every time doubt creeps in, you can choose to believe instead. Every time fear whispers that it's impossible, you can choose to believe it's already done. And the more you make that choice, the stronger your belief becomes. Belief is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So even if you've never believed in this kind of thing before, that's okay. You can start right now. Take a deep breath and let it sink in. $50 million is already lined up for you. It's not a dream. It's a reality that's just waiting for you to receive it. Start by telling yourself, I am worthy of this wealth. I believe money flows to me naturally and easily. Let those words sink into your heart. Repeat them every day, every time doubt tries to sneak in. Because belief isn't just a thought, it's a feeling. It's a knowing that goes deeper than logic. And when you embrace that belief, the universe has no choice but to respond. It's easy to think that this is all just talk. But let me share some real stories with you. Stories that show how powerful this process truly is. These are ordinary people, just like you, who changed the way they thought about money and watched as everything around them transformed. Let's start with Sarah. Just 3 months ago, Sarah was working 2 jobs, barely scraping by. Her bank account was almost empty. She had just $243 left. Credit card debt was piling up, and she felt like she was drowning. Then, she learned about the exact thought process I'm sharing with you right now. At first, she thought it was too simple to work. She doubted it could change anything. But she decided to give it a try. Within the first week, something unexpected happened. Sarah won $5,000 in a local contest she didn't even remember entering. It felt like a miracle, but it was just the beginning. By the 3rd week, her side business suddenly took off, bringing in $25,000 in a single day. By the end of the month, she received an inheritance from a long-lost relative, a staggering $2.3 million. Sarah's story isn't unique. I've seen this happen again and again. People who were struggling, feeling stuck, unable to break free from financial stress, found themselves receiving unexpected money, opportunities, and blessings. And it all started with a simple shift in how they thought about money. 5 years ago, I was in a similar place. I was living in a tiny apartment, surviving on ramen noodles, wondering if things would ever change. I worked hard, sometimes 2 or 3 jobs at a time, but no matter what I did, I couldn't seem to get ahead. I tried everything, side hustles, the lottery, even financial courses, but nothing worked. I felt like I was spinning my wheels. Then I discovered this thought process. I shifted the way I thought about money. I stopped chasing it, stopped worrying about how it would come, and started believing that it was already finding its way to me. Within 6 months, my life looked completely different. I had enough money to buy my dream house, start my own business, and even help my parents retire early. It wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was a shift in how I saw money. But here's what really blew my mind. When I started sharing this thought process with my closest friends, I watched their lives change too. These were regular people, teachers, nurses, small business owners. Out of the first 100 people who tried this method, 92 of them manifested at least $100,000 within 3 months. 27 of them hit the $1 million mark. And yes, 3 of them, just like the story I shared at the start, received $50 million or more. These stories prove one thing: this process works. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how much money you have right now. It only matters that you're willing to believe and take the first step. The money is already on its way to you. All you have to do is open the door and let it in. Remember, money is energy, and it flows where it's welcomed. These stories aren't fairy tales. They're proof that when you change the way you think, you change the way money flows into your life. You found this because you're ready. You're ready to believe. You're ready to receive. And now it's time to let $50 million find you. Most people believe that wealth comes only from hard work and endless struggle. We've been taught since we were children that money is something you have to chase, fight for, and sacrifice for. But the truth is much simpler and much more powerful. Money is energy. It flows naturally and effortlessly to those who understand how it works. It's not about being worthy or proving yourself or struggling harder than everyone else. It's about learning how to open the door and let it in. Think about how you see money right now. Do you see it as something that's always just out of reach? Do you believe you have to trade all your time and energy just to get a little bit of it? This is one of the biggest lies we've all been told. The real truth is that money doesn't care about your worthiness or your hard work. Money doesn't have feelings. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't reward you for your pain or your struggle. It simply follows your focus and your energy. When you focus on lack, on not having enough, you send out a signal that keeps money away. You block the natural flow that's already trying to reach you. But when you focus on abundance, when you believe that money is everywhere and always available, you become like a magnet for it. It flows to you in ways you never expected. This is what the wealthy already understand, even if they don't talk about it. Many of them don't even realize that they're doing it. They've simply picked up this pattern somewhere along the way, and now it runs on autopilot in their minds. They don't stress about every dollar. They don't live in constant fear of losing it. Instead, they treat money like the air they breathe, always there, always flowing. Let's pause for a moment and imagine that for yourself. Imagine feeling so at peace with money that you no longer worry about it. Imagine knowing that every time you need money, it's there, just like air. That's the mindset that unlocks true wealth. That's the truth about money that changes everything. You might be thinking, if this is so simple, why isn't everyone wealthy? The answer is that most people are stuck in the old way of thinking. They believe they have to struggle and prove themselves. They believe money is scarce, and as long as they hold on to those beliefs, they block the flow of abundance. But the moment you understand this truth, that money is energy, and it flows naturally to those who are open to receive it, everything changes. You don't have to work yourself to exhaustion. You don't have to prove you're worthy. You don't have to beg or chase. All you have to do is believe in the natural flow of abundance and start allowing money to come to you. And in the next section, I'm going to show you the biggest block that keeps most people from doing that and how to clear it for good. Even after people learn that money is energy and flows naturally, they often run into one big obstacle that stops them from letting it in. I call this the worth trap. It's the belief that you have to be worthy of money before you can receive it. It's the idea that you need to work harder, sacrifice more, or become a better person before money will show up for you. And it's the single biggest block that keeps people stuck. Think about how you felt about money in the past. Did you ever feel like you needed to prove yourself first? Did you think, once I pay off my debt, then I'll be worthy of more money? Or, if I just work harder, then maybe I'll deserve to be wealthy. This kind of thinking is a trap. It keeps you chasing money instead of letting it come to you. The truth is, money doesn't care if you're worthy. Money doesn't judge you. It doesn't hold grudges or keep score. Money is energy, and it flows wherever it's welcome. If you open the door, it comes in. If you close the door with feelings of unworthiness, it stays out. Another huge mistake people make is trying to manifest money from a place of need or desperation. When you focus on your empty bank account, your bills, and your debt, You're actually putting all your energy into lack. You're telling the universe, I don't have enough. And guess what? You get more of that lack. It's like trying to find love when you're desperately lonely. The harder you try, the further away it seems. Let's make this simple. Manifesting money doesn't happen from a place of neediness. It happens from a place of confidence and calm. It's about knowing that money is always available and it's already flowing your way. It's about trusting that you don't have to fight for it. The second you let go of the desperation and start believing in the natural flow of money, you start to attract it. Another mistake people make is making manifestation too complicated. They think they need to meditate for hours, say specific affirmations, or follow strict routines. They get so caught up in doing it right that they miss the point entirely. Money doesn't need you to jump through hoops. It just needs you to be open and ready to receive it. Here's the simple truth. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to work harder or prove your worth. You just need to let go of the old beliefs that are holding you back. You need to step out of the worth trap and step into the natural flow of abundance. Because the money is already there. It's just waiting for you to let it in. In the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how to shift your thoughts from wanting money to allowing money, and that's where everything changes. This is the moment everything starts to make sense. Now that you understand money is energy and that it flows where it's welcomed, it's time to shift the way you think about it. This is the simple thought process that turns you into a magnet for wealth. It's not about wanting money anymore. It's about allowing money to flow to you. Most people spend their lives wanting money. They think about it, dream about it, work for it. But wanting creates resistance. It's like chasing a butterfly. The harder you try to catch it, the further away it flies. Instead of chasing money, you need to allow it. You need to create a space in your mind where money can come in naturally, without effort or struggle. Let's break this down. Think about how you breathe. You don't worry about whether there's enough air, do you? You don't stress about whether you'll have enough for your next breath. You just know the air is there, ready for you. That's how you need to think about money. It's always there. It's always flowing. You just need to breathe it in. Instead of thinking, I want money or I need money, start thinking, money naturally flows to me. Let that thought sink in. Let it feel as normal as breathing. Imagine that every time you see a bill, instead of feeling stress or worry, you think, money flows to me so easily that this bill is already paid. When you want to buy something, instead of worrying about the cost, think, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. The key here is to make these thoughts feel natural, not forced, not desperate, just calm and certain, like the air you breathe. Money is always available. It's always flowing. You just need to tune your mind to receive it. This is different from just positive thinking. You're not trying to convince yourself of something you don't believe. You're not forcing yourself to ignore reality. Instead, you're gently shifting your perspective. You're choosing to see money as a constant, natural part of your life. It's like tuning a radio. The music is always playing, but you can't hear it until you tune in. Wealth is always flowing, but you can't receive it until you tune your mind to the right frequency. When you do that, you start to attract opportunities, ideas, and resources that you couldn't see before. Remember, your job isn't to figure out how the money will come. That's the universe's job. Your job is to create the space for it to flow in. Your job is to let it in, just like you let in every breath you take. With every thought of abundance, with every feeling of gratitude, you're opening the door wider and wider. This is how the wealthy think. They don't chase money. They don't stress about every dollar. They live in a state of calm certainty, knowing that money is always there for them. That's the thought process you're learning now. And once you embrace it, $50 million or any amount you desire can find you with ease. Now that you understand how to think about money, It's time to take it a step further and visualize wealth in a way that feels natural and effortless. Most people get this step wrong because they visualize from a place of lack. They imagine having money, but deep down, they feel the absence of it. It's like trying to drive a car with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You're telling the universe you want money, but at the same time, you're feeling the pain of not having it. And that's what you keep attracting. We're going to do this differently. We're going to create what I call natural state visualization. Think about how you live in your own home. You don't constantly think about owning your home. You just live there. You walk through the rooms, cook your meals, relax on the couch. It feels normal. That's exactly how you want to visualize wealth, like it's already yours, and it's the most natural thing in the world. Start by closing your eyes and imagining checking your bank account, but don't get too excited. Just be casual about it, like you're checking the weather. See the $50 million balance, but treat it like it's the most normal thing you've ever seen. This might feel strange at first, but it's so important. You're training your mind to accept wealth as normal. Take it a step further. Picture yourself buying whatever you want. A car, a home, a gift for someone you love. But again, do it with a calm feeling. No excitement, no disbelief, just pure, natural acceptance. Imagine paying bills easily, helping others, giving to causes you care about. Let it all feel as normal as brushing your teeth. This is how the wealthy live. They don't jump for joy every time they buy something. They don't get excited about paying bills. They treat money as a normal part of their daily lives. And that's what you want to create in your mind. When wealth feels normal to you, it will flow to you naturally. Remember, visualization isn't about forcing something to happen. It's about aligning your energy with what you want. The goal is to feel so at ease with wealth that your subconscious mind accepts it as your reality. And when that happens, the outer world has no choice but to match that inner state. Do this visualization for just 5 minutes every morning and 5 minutes every night. And during the day, when you find yourself worrying about money, switch back to this calm, natural state. Picture yourself as already wealthy and let that feeling fill you up. That's how you train your mind to accept abundance. Now that you've learned how to think about money and visualize it, it's time to create daily habits that keep you in this state of abundance. These rituals aren't complicated or time-consuming. They're simple practices that help you stay aligned with wealth every single day. Every morning, before you check your phone or your bank account, take 5 minutes to feel wealthy. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Feel the peace that comes from knowing that your bank account is full, that your bills are paid, and that you have the freedom to help others. Let that feeling wash over you and fill your entire being. Throughout the day, practice what I call wealth breathing. Whenever you spend money, even if it's just for a cup of coffee, take a deep breath and think, more money is already flowing back to me. When you pay bills, smile and think, money flows both ways and it always comes back multiplied. This small shift in thinking turns every transaction into a moment of abundance. At night, before you go to bed, review your day through the eyes of a wealthy person. Don't focus on what you couldn't afford or the bills that are coming up. Instead, appreciate everything that money has already brought into your life. The roof over your head, the food you ate, the clothes you wear. Feel grateful, but not from a place of lack. Feel grateful from a place of abundance. These rituals aren't meant to be chores. They're meant to be natural, just like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. When you do them every day, they reprogram your mind to see wealth as normal and expected. And when wealth feels normal, it shows up more and more in your life. Remember, consistency is key. The more you practice these rituals, the stronger your wealth frequency becomes. You'll start to notice small shifts. Maybe unexpected money shows up or opportunities appear that you never saw before. These are signs that your new thought process is working. Even when you're doing everything right, doubt will try to sneak in. It's normal. Your mind might say, "This isn't working," or "This is too good to be true." When that happens, remember that doubt is just your old programming trying to protect you. Thank it for trying to help, but gently return to your new thought process. Don't let doubt derail you. Every time it shows up, remind yourself that money is energy and it flows to you naturally. Keep repeating to yourself, "Money flows to me easily and effortlessly." The more you practice, the weaker doubt becomes, and the stronger your belief grows. You might also face negative people, friends, family, co-workers, who don't understand what you're doing. They might laugh at your new mindset or tell you you're being unrealistic. Don't try to convince them. You don't need to explain or defend your beliefs. Just smile, thank them for their concern, and keep focusing on your vision. Their doubt can't stop your manifestation unless you let it. Another tricky block is what I call the evidence trap. This happens when you look at your current bank account and think it's proof that your manifestation isn't working. Remember, what you see in your bank account is just the result of your old thoughts. It's like looking in the rearview mirror while trying to drive forward. When you catch yourself doing this, shift your focus to how you want your finances to be. See your new reality in your mind and feel it in your heart. Sometimes fear of success can also block your money flow. Deep down, you might be afraid that having a lot of money will change you or your relationships. Remind yourself that money only amplifies who you already are. If you're a kind, generous person, having more money will help you do even more good in the world. These obstacles are normal. They're part of the process, but they can't stop you unless you give them power. Every time you face doubt, negativity, or fear, come back to your core belief. Money is energy, and it flows to you naturally. Stay focused on your vision and keep moving forward, because on the other side of these obstacles is the abundance you've been waiting for. You've come so far on this journey. You've learned that money is energy and that it flows where it's welcome. You've learned to shift from wanting money to allowing it, to think about wealth as natural and normal, and to visualize it in a way that feels effortless. You've learned simple daily rituals that keep you aligned with abundance, and you know how to handle doubt and negativity along the way. Now it's time to take action. Decide right now that you're going to live in this new way. Choose to see money as your natural state. Choose to let go of the old beliefs that have held you back. Choose to welcome $50 million into your life with open arms. Remember, the universe doesn't know the difference between $50 and $50 million. It responds to your energy, your focus, and your belief. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with wealth, you open the door to abundance. Take a deep breath and let that feeling sink in. Imagine how it feels to know that money is always available to you, that it's always flowing your way. Feel the peace and freedom that come from knowing you have everything you need. Your journey to wealth begins with a single step, a decision to think differently about money. Make that decision today and watch as the universe rearranges itself to bring you the abundance you deserve. You found this message for a reason. The $50 million you've been dreaming about is already on its way to you. All you have to do is open the door and let it in. Peace, abundance, and blessings to you always. Now that you're beginning to align with the frequency of abundance, it's time to explore how this inner transformation naturally leads to inspired outer action. There's a beautiful balance between the spiritual work of shifting your consciousness and the practical steps of moving in the world. Both are necessary, and both work together in perfect harmony when you're operating from a place of love and trust. Inspired action feels very different from forced action. When you're forcing action, you're pushing against resistance, trying to make things happen through sheer willpower. You might work 16-hour days, chase every opportunity with desperation, or constantly hustle because you're afraid that if you slow down, abundance will pass you by. This kind of action comes from fear and usually leads to exhaustion and frustration, even when it produces some results. Inspired action, on the other hand, flows from a place of inner knowing and trust. It feels natural, almost effortless, even when it requires effort. You find yourself drawn to certain opportunities, not because you're desperate, but because something inside you recognizes them as aligned with your highest good. You take steps forward with confidence, knowing that you're being guided by something larger than your fearful mind. Learning to recognize inspired action begins with getting quiet and listening to your inner wisdom. That gentle voice inside you, the one that whispers rather than shouts, the one that feels calm rather than frantic, is constantly offering you guidance about your next steps. But we often can't hear it because we're so busy listening to the fearful chatter of our worried minds. Your inner guidance might suggest that you have a conversation with someone about a potential opportunity, even if your logical mind thinks it's too early or you're not qualified enough. It might encourage you to take a class, read a book, or develop a skill that doesn't seem directly related to making money, but feels meaningful to you. It might nudge you to reach out to an old friend, attend an event, or simply follow a curiosity that brings you joy. The key is learning to trust these gentle nudges, even when they don't make perfect logical sense. Your inner wisdom can see the bigger picture that your conscious mind cannot. It knows about connections and opportunities that are coming your way. It understands the perfect timing of things in ways that your impatient ego does not. Sometimes inspired action means saying no to opportunities that look good on paper but don't feel right in your heart. Your inner guidance might steer you away from a job that would pay well but would drain your energy, knowing that something better aligned is coming. It might encourage you to turn down a business partnership that would be financially beneficial but would compromise your values or peace of mind. This kind of discernment takes practice and courage. We've been taught to grab every opportunity, to say yes to anything that might lead to money, even if it doesn't feel good. But when you're aligned with abundance consciousness, you begin to trust that the right opportunities, the ones that will truly serve your highest good, will present themselves at the perfect time. Practical inspired action might look like updating your resume because you feel called to explore new career possibilities. It might mean reaching out to that business contact who's been on your mind, or finally starting that creative project you've been postponing. It could be as simple as organizing your finances so you can see clearly where you stand, or as bold as investing in yourself through education or training that excites you. The universe often delivers opportunities through other people, so part of taking inspired action involves nurturing your relationships and being genuinely interested in others. When you approach networking from a place of authentic care rather than self-serving agenda, you create connections that naturally lead to mutual support and opportunity. Journaling can be an incredibly powerful tool for recognizing and following your inner guidance. Set aside time each morning to write about what feels exciting to you, what opportunities are presenting themselves, what actions feel aligned, and what your intuition is telling you about your next steps. Don't worry about whether your thoughts make perfect sense. Just let your inner wisdom speak through your pen. As you practice following inspired action, you'll begin to notice that doors open more easily, that opportunities flow more naturally, and that your efforts produce better results with less struggle. This is because you're working with the natural flow of the universe rather than against it. You're allowing abundance to guide you toward itself rather than trying to chase it down. Taking inspired action also means being willing to start before you feel completely ready. Your logical mind will always find reasons to wait until you have more money, more knowledge, more connections, more time. But inspired action often requires taking the first step from where you are with what you have, trusting that the next step will become clear as you move forward. This doesn't mean being reckless or irresponsible. It means distinguishing between wise caution and paralyzing fear. Wise caution helps you make thoughtful decisions and prepare appropriately. Paralyzing fear keeps you stuck in analysis and planning without ever moving into action. Your inner wisdom can help you feel the difference between these two. Even as you align with abundance consciousness and begin taking inspired action, there will still be times when things don't go as planned. Financial setbacks, unexpected expenses, lost opportunities, and disappointing outcomes are all part of the human experience. The difference is how you respond to these challenges when you're operating from a foundation of love and trust rather than fear and scarcity. When setbacks occur, your old patterns might try to convince you that abundance doesn't really work for you, that you're somehow different or excluded from the universe's generosity. This is exactly when your new abundance consciousness needs your love and protection the most. These moments are opportunities to practice choosing love over fear, trust over doubt, compassion over self-criticism. The first step in overcoming setbacks with love is to allow yourself to feel whatever emotions arise without judgment. If you're scared, disappointed, angry, or confused, these feelings are completely valid and human. Don't try to spiritually bypass them or pretend they don't exist. Acknowledge them with the same tenderness you would show a frightened child, and let them know it's safe to feel whatever they need to feel. Once you've honored your emotions, you can begin to look for the gifts hidden within the challenge. This isn't about pretending that difficult things are good, but about trusting that even difficult experiences can serve your growth and eventual prosperity. Perhaps this setback is redirecting you towards something better. Maybe it's teaching you valuable lessons about money management, boundaries, or self-care. It could be an opportunity to deepen your trust in the universe's timing and wisdom. Setbacks often reveal areas where we still have healing work to do. If a financial loss triggers deep shame about your worthiness, this is valuable information about old wounds that are ready to be healed. If an unexpected expense sends you into panic about your security, this shows you where you still need to strengthen your trust in the universe's provision. These revelations, while uncomfortable, are actually gifts that help you become even more aligned with abundance. Maintaining your abundance practices during difficult times is crucial. This is when your daily gratitude, your affirmations, your visualization, and your self-love practices become even more important. Not because you're trying to deny reality, but because you're choosing to stay connected to the larger truth of abundance, even while dealing with temporary challenges. Self-care becomes especially important during financial stress. When money is tight, we often cut out the very things that help us feel resourced and resilient. Massages, nice meals, time in nature, activities that bring us joy. But this is exactly when we need these nurturing experiences most. Find ways to care for yourself that don't require money. Long baths, walks in nature, time with loving friends, creative expression, meditation. Remember that setbacks are temporary. They are weather patterns moving through your life, not permanent conditions. Just as a garden goes through seasons of dormancy before blooming again, your financial life may have seasons of challenge before expanding into greater abundance. Trust the natural cycles and rhythms of life, knowing that this too shall pass. During difficult times, it's also important to reach out for support when you need it. Isolation and shame often accompany financial challenges, but these feelings only make the situation harder. Connect with trusted friends, family members, or professionals who can offer practical help, emotional support, or simply a listening ear. Allowing others to support you during tough times is another form of receiving that keeps you connected to the flow of love and abundance. As you continue this journey of abundance consciousness, you'll begin to notice that you naturally start living as your abundant self even before all the external evidence is in place. This is one of the most beautiful aspects of this work. You don't have to wait until you have millions of dollars to embody the consciousness of abundance. You can begin living from this truth right now, exactly where you are. Living as your abundant self means treating yourself with the love and respect that abundant people naturally have for themselves. It means making decisions from trust rather than fear, choosing quality over quantity when possible, and investing in your growth and well-being because you know you're worth it. It means being generous with your time, attention, and care because you know that giving and receiving are both part of the natural flow of abundance. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have or pretending your current financial situation doesn't exist. It means bringing the energy of abundance to whatever situation you're in. If you can only afford to shop at thrift stores, you can still choose beautiful things that make you feel good. If you're eating simple meals, you can still prepare them with love and eat them with gratitude. If you're living in a small space, you can still make it beautiful and peaceful with what you have. Abundant people take care of their health because they know their well-being is precious. They educate themselves because they value growth and learning. They surround themselves with beauty in whatever ways they can because they know beauty nourishes the soul. They treat their belongings with care because they appreciate what they have. They're generous with compliments and encouragement because they know there's plenty of love to go around. Living as your abundant self also means setting healthy boundaries around money and relationships. Abundant people don't allow others to take advantage of their generosity, and they don't stay in situations that consistently drain their energy or resources. They value themselves enough to say no to requests that don't feel aligned, and they trust that better opportunities will come when they make space for them. Sharing your abundance with others, even in small ways, helps you embody the consciousness of plenty. This might mean leaving generous tips when you can afford to, buying coffee for the person behind you in line, or contributing to causes you care about within your means. It could be sharing your time, skills, or knowledge with someone who could benefit from what you have to offer. The key is giving from joy rather than obligation, from fullness rather than emptiness. As you practice living as your abundant self, you'll notice that your external circumstances begin to shift to match your internal state. People respond to you differently when you carry yourself with quiet confidence and self-respect. Opportunities present themselves when you're open and generous rather than closed and fearful. Money flows more easily when you treat it with appreciation rather than anxiety. Creating positive money habits becomes natural when you're living from abundance consciousness. You find yourself automatically saving a percentage of any money that comes in because you value your future security. You pay your bills with gratitude rather than resentment because you appreciate the services and products you receive. You make thoughtful purchasing decisions because you respect both your money and your values. Building sustainable prosperity mindset means thinking beyond your immediate financial needs to the legacy you want to create. What kind of relationship with money do you want to model for your children or other young people in your life? What kind of positive impact do you want to make in the world through your financial choices? How can your prosperity serve not just yourself, but the larger community of which you're a part? As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to take a moment to appreciate yourself for every step you've taken on this journey. The fact that you've stayed with me through this entire exploration shows your commitment to growing and healing. The willingness you've shown to examine your beliefs, to consider new possibilities, and to open your heart to abundance is truly beautiful. You are not the same person who began reading these words. Something has shifted inside you. Seeds of new possibility have been planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. You may not see the full results immediately, but trust that the work you've done here is already beginning to transform your life in ways both seen and unseen. The $50 million mentioned in our title isn't really about a specific amount of money. It's about the infinite abundance that is your birthright as a beloved child of the universe. It's about recognizing that you are inherently valuable, infinitely loved, and completely worthy of all the good that life has to offer. When you truly know this in your heart, money becomes simply one of many ways that abundance expresses itself in your life. Remember that transformation happens in spirals, not straight lines. You might find yourself cycling back through old fears or limitations, and this is perfectly normal and natural. Each time you return to a familiar challenge, you're experiencing it from a higher level of consciousness, with more tools and greater wisdom. Be patient and compassionate with yourself through this process. The practices we've explored together, releasing old money blocks, learning to receive gracefully, rewriting your money story, aligning with abundance frequency, taking inspired action, handling setbacks with love, and living as your abundant self. These are not one-time exercises, but lifelong practices that will serve you in countless ways. I encourage you to choose one or two practices that resonated most deeply with you and commit to them for the next 30 days. Let them become part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. Small, consistent steps taken with love and intention are far more powerful than dramatic gestures that can't be sustained. Trust the process, dear one. Trust that the universe is conspiring on your behalf. Trust that your willingness to heal and grow is already drawing abundance toward you in ways you might not yet see. Trust that every loving thought you think about yourself and money is creating positive change in your life. You are worthy of abundance. You are deserving of prosperity. You are capable of creating a beautiful, financially secure life that allows you to care for yourself and contribute to others. This is not wishful thinking. This is truth. And the more you align with this truth, the more your external life will reflect it. The universe has been waiting for you to remember who you really are, a magnificent being worthy of all good things. That $50 million, that abundant life, that financial freedom you dream of. It's been waiting for you too. And now that you've found this message, now that you've opened your heart to these possibilities, you've taken the first and most important step toward claiming what has always been yours. Go forward with love, with trust, with confidence in your worthiness. Go forward knowing that you are supported, guided, and deeply loved. Go forward as the abundant being you were always meant to be. The universe is ready to give you everything your heart desires, and more importantly, you are finally ready to receive it. With all my love and blessings for your abundant and prosperous life,